Another week, another loss, as the New York Jets hit 0-4 for the first time since the Adam Gase era. Oh boy, here we go again. All right, let's discuss this, folks. Jets losing to the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football, 27-21, and it really never felt that close, to be honest with you. It was not as close as the final score indicated, because this was another mistake-filled effort by the New York Jets as they took on the Dolphins on Monday night, okay? One thing that's really starting to bug me right now is the constant mistakes. And it's not even small little tiny mistakes. It's huge mistakes. It's mistakes that change the game and flip the game on its head. And this is just my own sense of the way this team plays right now. Because they play with a malaise. They play as if they know they have no shot. They know they have no confidence. And that's how they perform on a week-in, week-out basis. And that was the kind of effort in this game because it was boring to watch. It was bad football. I even joke with a couple of our friends here, Mr. Rick Laughlin and Dan Feuerstein, that this was worse than watching a 1AA college football game. That's what this was like, because if you're old enough to remember late former President Jimmy Carter, when he was describing the state of the nation during his administration, he called it a malaise. And that's how it feels with the Jets. It's just a team that has its head in a fog, and they can't find their way out of it. They lack discipline. They certainly lack focus. They lack knowledge of simple fundamentals, and they lack an understanding of situational football, and that was apparent throughout the course of this game on Monday night. And it's baffling, folks. It really is. Because we have a coach in Aaron Glenn. We have a coaching staff that he has put together with Steve Wilks as the defensive coordinator, Tanner Engstrand, an offensive coordinator from formerly and a quarterback's coach of the Detroit Lions, and they constantly preach disciplined, focused football, and we're just seeing the total opposite. So either you can blame the players, which is certainly fair, or you can blame the method of coaching, or really a combination of both. I like Aaron Glenn as the coach. I really do. I think that he has a chance to be a good coach in the NFL at some point. And I want him to succeed here. He used to play here with the Jets, okay? I want him to be that guy that can turn this thing around. But it feels like right now, as we're 4 weeks into this thing, whatever he and his staff are communicating with this group of players, it's just not connecting. It just isn't. When you're making fundamental and stupid mistakes that the Jets make, fumbling the football, not being aware where you are on the field during a punt or kickoff return, these kind of things all come back to bite you. And I don't want to hear about, we're not the same old Jets anymore, and that, hey, the Jets only lost by 6 points, and hey, if the referees didn't throw a flag on that ridiculous offensive pass interference call against Garrett Wilson, then maybe the Jets get a touchdown and they win the game. I don't want to hear any of that. I understand that happened, but I don't want to hear it. Because at the end of the day, the Jets found ways to lose even before that silly penalty against Garrett Wilson. The Jets fumbled 3 times in this game. You had a chance. The Jets had a chance. Down 3-0. You have Justin Fields and the Jets doing a great job first drive, pounding the rock, shoving it right down the throat of the Miami Dolphins with both Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. Kind of reminded you what the Jets were able to do in the first game of the year against Pittsburgh. And there they are on the doorstep of the goal line. They give it to Allen, who was pounding right through the defensive line of the Miami Dolphins, and it looks like he's about to score, and then, of course, fumbles the football forward. Miami recovers, and then they turn that because the Jets' great defense, which has no ability to stop anybody, let alone a nosebleed, lets Tua Tagovailoa drive 96 yards the other way for a touchdown to make it 10-0 in favor of Miami. So you lose that. Then you have Justin Fields fumbling the football second quarter on a 4th down inside Miami territory. When instead of setting for a field goal where you can cut the Miami lead down to 4, maybe you cut it to 10-6. You're down 10-3 at this point. You might as well kick. No, they go for him 4th down, and he fumbles the ball. That's fumble number 2. And then, of course, Isaiah Williams, not even the first play, kickoff of the second half, he fumbles the football. Miami recovers. They get a touchdown out of it. And instead of disciplining Williams, he's back out there for the kickoff again. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? Not to mention you have on the punt return the lack of situational awareness where you are in the field, where there's a fair catch called by the Jets, and I believe it was Williams again. I'll have to double check now. Yes, it was Isaiah Williams, where he fair catches the ball at the 2-yard line. You're at your own 2-yard line. Are you kidding? If you're in that situation, you might as well just walk away from the ball and let it bounce, hope that it maybe lands into the end zone for a touchback. You're calling for a fair catch at your own 2-yard line. This is what I'm talking about. It's these kind of things that all come together and lead to a loss by the New York Jets on Monday night. It's really inexplicable. It's inexplicable, stupid things that keep killing the Jets week in and week out. Not to mention 13 penalties. 13 penalties in this game for over 100 yards. And yet here the Jets were. They had a chance to come back like they did last week against Tampa Bay, pull off a miracle finish at the end. You have Justin Fields finding Garrett Wilson finally in the end zone for a touchdown. He makes that great catch in the back of the end zone, make it a 27-19 game. They go for 2, which I thought was crazy to do, but they do it anyway, and Justin Fields scores himself, makes it a 6-point game, now 27-21. You get an onside kick, you can have a chance to potentially win the game. You came that close, but that just shows you how bad Miami is, because for all the mistakes that the Jets made, Miami should have won this game by more than 20 with the way things were playing out for New York. And the, as I said, malaise that the Jets carried throughout the course of this game. But it just goes to show you how bad Miami is. 27-21. Now the Jets are sitting here at 0-4. The Jets also, I just forgot about this, and I got to mention it now. Of course, Braylon Allen, why is he returning kicks? First half, he gets injured, leaves the game, of course, doesn't come back. What were you doing there? Why you have your second best running back returning kicks? I'm at a loss for words. Like I said, I want this coaching staff to succeed. I want this coach to succeed. I want this team to succeed. And yes, it is the first year of a new operation. I understand all of that. But it's becoming apparent now every week. And while the expectations are low, and I give credit to the guys on the post-game show and asking why they said this, you had expectations low coming into the season. We all did. Everyone did. Reasonable, obviously. I'm thinking, maybe this could be a 6 or 7 win team. It may still turn out that way. But you've taken low expectations and you've cratered it. Cratered it to the point where it's not fun to watch. It's boring. Even let's go back a couple of years ago, the 2022, right? And that was a team that had a lot of faults. They were not a perfect team. It was Robert Saleh's second year. And even if you want to go back to the first year in 2021 when they went 4-13, you had moments where it was fun to watch the team. It was fun. You saw players who were showing you something, that they could be an impact player down the road, that they could make a difference. Right now, we're not seeing that. We're seeing an unfocused football team. An unfocused, undisciplined, and sadly, unprepared football team through 4 weeks. Yet somehow, in 3 of these 4 games, they have found a way to lose by less than a touchdown in 3 of these 4 losses. 0-4. I would think that this team is going to get some wins. I don't know if it's going to come anytime soon, though. Again, the schedule, you have Dallas this week. You have Denver the week after that in the UK. You have those are going to be two very difficult spots. I would imagine that the best chance for the Jets to get a win here in the early season, when now we're heading into October, will be in a few weeks when they take on the Carolina Panthers, who have their own issues. That's on October 19th. And then after that, talking about the Browns, and then you go down the schedule from there. And there's no gimmies in any of these games now. No gimmies. That Jaguars game in December looks really tough now. That Saints game, hey, look, the Saints gave the Bills all they can handle the other day. That's not going to be an easy game now. The Patriots, that's not going to be an easy game now. And you play them twice, obviously. Atlanta looks pretty decent. So remember, everyone was like, hey, that back half of the schedule for the Jets looks pretty easy. They can really chew up some wins. And maybe they can, but it's getting harder and harder to imagine. This looks like a 2 to 3 win football team at max. At max. And maybe in a year from now, maybe this all works out. Maybe Aaron Glenn finally figures this out, gets players that he feels that can match what he wants in the system, and we can look back at this 2025 season and laugh at it. Maybe that can happen. I don't know. But the fact is this team right now that he has, it's just not connecting. He and them just not connecting right now. And it's bad football to watch. Leave your thoughts below, folks. We'll talk to you next time. Like and subscribe.